Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast, and today is something special. The release of Mystery Booster Convention Edition into stores. Not only is the fan favorite Mystery Booster set returning to stores, but this time around, one per pack, you can get your hands on all sorts of wacky playtest cards that were originally bound for conventions. While they're wild cards with hand-drawn artwork by Wizard staff, myself included by the way, and aren't legal anywhere but the draft format, they were extremely popular, and I'm really glad we're getting them out to more players. I was the lead architect of Mystery Booster and designed the majority of the playtest cards. There are a ton of references and fun facts about them which you might have missed. Buckle in and get your uncovered cavern plot boosters ready. It's time for me to share 10 fun things you might have missed about these cards. Keep track of how many of them you know and post in the comments down below with your score. Ready? Let's go. Number 1, let's talk about Sunamret. This card exiles all creatures and has the reverse miracle mechanic, letting you cast it from the bottom of your library. Sound like a mirror image of something? Well, that would of course be Avacyn Restored's Terminus. The Easter egg? Sunamret is simply Terminus backwards. Number 2, there's a few split cards among the playtest cards, and they're all doing something unique. One that I'm often asked about is Bind Liberate. What makes this a Mystery Booster card? It seems totally printable. Well, both Bind and Liberate are existing Magic cards. This staples both of them together on a single split card. There's a similar trick, by the way, done on Start Fire, which combines existing half cards using both a split card and an aftermath card. Is it weird or cool for you to see split cards that feature existing cards? Let me know in the comments. Number 3, every now and again, we run something called the Great Designer Search, or GDS for short. It's a reality show style competition for Magic designers, and many current Magic designers have come from it. In the first round, all prospective Magic designers take a design test. And in the last one, Great Designer Search 3, there was a particularly notorious question. The question asked which color combination would get a 4/4 flying vigilance creature without being a card that would just be monocolored otherwise. The obvious answer most people chose was blue-white. However, because mono-white can just get 4/4 flying vigilance, see Sarah Angel, the answer Mark Rosewater was actually looking for was black-green. This tricky question spawned much discussion. And so, in this set, I made Golgari Deathswarm, the black-green Sarah Angel, as a nod to this. It not only is a black-green Sarah Angel, but look at that name. Golgari Deathswarm abbreviates to GDS. And with 3 in the mana cost, you even have GDS 3 right there. And while we're talking about the GDS, let me get to number 4. So after thousands of people apply, they're eventually called down to a top 8, and then it's run reality show style from there, where people are in a design competition and all the designs are posted online. In the Great Designer Search 3, we ended up bringing in 2 of the top 8 for jobs, R.A. Nie and Chris Mooney. But as a nod to the other 6 still excellent designers who didn't end up with a job here, I took 1 design each from their Great Designer Search submissions and put them into the set as a nod to their effort. Those are Bucket List by Jay Treat, Pick Your Poison by Jeremy Geist, Zim Mesmeric Lord by Alex Werner, Bombardment by Ryan Siegel Steichler, Graveyard Dig by Linus Ulysses Hamilton, and Wizened Arbiter by Scott Wilson. Good work all. Number 5. While many of the cards behind these playtest cards that they're stickered on are just the same few commons, there are a few very specific jokes that work out involving these stickers. Form of the Muldrifter is stickered on a Muldrifter, Marrow's Gone Nuts is on a Doubling Season, Seek Bolas's Counsel is on a Cruel Ultimatum, and One with Death is on One with Nothing. There are more too. If you spotted any others, share what you found in the comments below. Number 6. Many years ago, nestled in Usenet newsgroups and mailing lists, is the very first Magic meme. Someone claimed that they had this mythical card called Throat Wolf, which had Firstest Strike and was incredibly powerful. And one by one, the rumor of this card spread. No such card actually existed though, so I made one here. I went back and looked at a lot of the original posts to make sure I stuck to the spirit of what was said. Note that it even has summon on the type line like an old school playtest card would. It's finally a payoff for a joke that was over 20 years in the making. And speaking of summon, for number 7, let's talk about another one. Here's a fun fact that only people who have heard me tell stories on podcasts or other YouTube channels would know. For Dominaria, I got to work with Richard Garfield on the set. He would send me his designs and I would identify which ones to put into the card file. This meant I ended up with a huge wealth of cards Richard had designed that never got used. Well, I figured for Mystery Booster, how about we tap into one of the greats? I combed back through the cards Richard had sent me years ago and found one we didn't use to put into the set, Zyru Spectre. This card is entirely identical to the card that Richard sent me, wording and all. Richard had pitched using this as an entire mechanic in Dominaria. It didn't make it, but now Zyru Spectre lives on forever. Number 8 is a card I get asked about all the time and is an extremely convoluted reference. And that's the reference on Cyclopean Titan. What exactly is going on here? To figure it out, we need to do some Cyclopean math. Time Spiral was a set full of ridiculous references and mashups, but few of them were more ridiculous to me than Cyclopean Giant. This card was a combination of Cyclopean Mummy and Cyclopean Tomb. Two entirely unrelated cards, other than they both had Cyclopean in their names. Or to actually be precise, it's 2 Cyclopean mummies and a Cyclopean tomb. Cyclopean Titan takes this ridiculous mashup to truly absurd levels. It's 2 combined Cyclopean giants together. And as for that other ability, well, in the spirit of the original, I took another completely unrelated magic card with Cyclopean in the name, Cyclopean Snare, and just toss that on. You know, for the times you just really need to bounce your own 8-drop to tap a creature. But if you want a deep cut, here's a deep cut. Card number 9 is Lazy Goblin, and for this one, we need to look at a different kind of design test than the GDS, the Vapor Ops test. All the way back in 2003, there's a semi-well-known article called The Vapor Ops Test, where Randy Buehler breaks down the card design test people were sent when interviewing at Wizards at the time. Of course, keep in mind, all of these cards were by 2003 standards. One such card is Lazy Goblin, a single red mana 2/1 that can't block. The article goes on to talk in lengthy detail about how this card is clearly too good and unacceptable. And if you think that a single red mana 2/1 can't block is okay, you shouldn't have a job in R&D. It was a different time. We've done several cards that are better than our 2/1 can't block since then, but it always stuck in my head. Lazier Goblin is named as a reference back to Lazy Goblin. And finally, number 10. If you've been paying close attention, you might have noticed that this set, which originally released in late 2019, has sneakily previewed a number of things. Enchantmentize showed up in the very next set as one with the stars. Recyclabird showed off keyword counters early. Ruff previewed the dog creature type change. Even as recently as now, we saw Bone Rattler give way to Boneyard Aberration in Jumpstart Historic Horizons. How many can you catch? Which abilities do you think are next? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at the Mystery Booster playtest cards. I'll talk with you again on Monday, and until then, may you have fun playtesting. You got this. The first is for people using these commander decks to expand their collections and get into the format. A lot of people buy all 4 commander decks together to acquire cards. By trying to repeat the same card as few times as possible, it gives people maximum variety in the cards they own after buying all 4 decks.